Hey, thanks for stopping by at Twisted Art Designs. Today I thought I would show a quick video on how I upcycle a magazine when I'm done with it for items for doing art journaling and collage. So to get started, I'm using an old Martha Stewart magazine, and it was given to me by someone. So what I would start with on this is I look for things that I can use for lettering, and on this initial cover, right off the get-go, those letters have a nice space between them and they're nice and big, so these would be perfect for using for lettering. So what I would do is I would just cut out that piece and I would throw this in my bin for lettering. So when I am doing a collage where I'm going to use different letters to make a word, and I'll show you what I mean. Like on this page for not my circus, not my monkeys, those letters for the word circus and for the word monkeys are from magazine letters. So see how they're individual letters cut out, and then I've put them together on my art journal page to make a word. So this is perfect for that because it has a good amount of space in between the letters. You want to be sure that you have enough space in between the letters that you can make a straight cut. And I don't usually cut the letters apart and put them in. I put it in my bin as one word, and then when I need letters, I just cut from it. That's just my process. So if you look at this word for Lauren, and it's for Ralph Lauren Polo, it does have a good spacing in between where those letters would work as well. So I'm going to take that and do the same thing. Now for the rest of that, I've cut off the word and I'm going to throw that in my word bin. For the rest of this, I don't want that image, and this is kind of blah in the background, so I turn it over. I do like this blue. That would be great as a border on a page that maybe I was doing something mermaid or something like that. So I'm going to put that aside into my pile for things that I want to make for a border. And then I'm going to move on to the next page, and I just start going page by page through the magazine. I look for lettering with good spacing, and I cut all of those out. They all go into the bin because you use words and letters all the time in your art journaling. And then I look for images, of course, like that's cute with this little tiny picture that has garden tools. That would be adorable on a tag. So that would go into a pile for ephemera. Ephemera is, you know, I'm going to make tags out of it. I'm going to do something with it and mount it onto something, so I'm going to make that ephemera. And I had already seen the other side. Make sure you look at both sides before you cut it out, and there's nothing else that I want, so I move on. So on this page, there isn't anything. The main colors are too blah for punching out circles or making border stuff. The letters are too close together to use as words. And I could go to this page. The letters up there are okay. I don't particularly like that there's there are hair behind the letters, so I'm going to skip that one. And the image is not something that I would want to save. You might want to save, well, you could. You could use this for put in your folder for eyes, for if you're using specific eyes for your collage, and sometimes you cut out the eyes and put them over something else. So I'll put that in my eyes section. And I have folders in a file cabinet, and I have one for arms, legs, feet, clothing, eyes, lips. If you see a picture and the girl has a particularly beautiful pair of lips, I just cut that out in a section and save it big enough that I can trim around it or do whatever I want to do with it, because that might be pretty on top of a collaged piece that you're putting together. So I just put them in folders. Then when I sit down to do collage, it's awesome because I know I'm working on something and I have, you know, say a teapot, and I want to have some cute little arms coming out of the teapot. I go to my folder that's got all kinds of pictures of arms, and I rifle through it and find some arms that might go with that image to make a collage piece. So that's what I do. And if there are words, like I think my hair, the words I think would be something I might use in my art journal, because it might go with a, you know, I think I'll make art today. So I'm going to save the words I think. That's going to go into my pile for words. So I save whole words. I save words that I can cut in between and use the letters for. These are good letters that you can cut between, so I'm going to save that. And the letters, I like to make sure that they're a nice size. Look at this. Okay, editor's letter, in the spirit of sharing. In the spirit of sharing is kind of a neat saying. You might use that on an art journal page, or you might cut these letters apart. So I'm going to save that. There's nothing else on here that I'd like. This has got some nice, great big letters. I make sure that the letters that I save are substantial size. I want them to be not little itty bitty tiny letters. I want them to be, because I can rubber stamp little tiny letters and things, I want them to be pretty substantial. She's got a really nice smile, so that would be a good one for saving those lips. That'd be an awesome smile to collage onto something else and have that beautiful big smile. Look at that. Perfect. So that's going to go in my pile for smiles. Now on this side, I love that this picture of Cindy Crawford has got this, she's in this beautiful outfit that looks like it is crocheted. And that would be a perfect thing for punching some circles out of, because it's got such a nice texture to it. So I cut it out, I get my circle punch, I flip it upside down, and I start punching some circles to save. Look at that pretty circle. And I put those into my little container for punch circles. And if you start to punch with your punch and it doesn't punch through magazine very well, put a piece of regular paper, like printer paper, behind the magazine paper. Sometimes punches don't like these slick, smooth surfaces to punch through, and a piece of regular paper behind them will give it stability and it'll punch perfectly. So if the magazine paper is too thin, or it's just being a booger and doesn't want to punch out your circles good, then look how pretty that is. That is gorgeous. So put paper behind it. So that's a great one for some texture and some texture pieces to save. And I keep them all in a little drawer. I drop them in here, and I don't just do circles. I punch out squares of different sizes, hexagons, and circles. So I go to the next page, and I just do this page by page. There again, perfect letters to use. Make sure there's nothing on the back. Those words you might want to save and you have to choose. Do I like the words that I might use the whole words, or do I like the letters better? On this one, I like the letters better, and go with your instant response to that. So if you're torn and you're like, oh, I don't know, what's your instant reaction? My instant reaction was, I like the white letter with blue background better than I care about the words that are on the back of this. So that's what I'm selecting, and I don't put too much thought into it and spend a lot of time really, you know, thinking through. I try to make this process easy and quick because I rather spend my time working on my journal. So that's just my process. Okay, and on this next one, I love that square that has that flower. There's nothing on the back that I'm too concerned about, so I'm going to save that. And I'm going to put that in my folder for floral, because that is a really unique, pretty flower, but it also could be something interesting and fun in collage, because that's kind of an interesting flower. So I'm going to use that for that. And if there's anything that looks interesting in a punched out shape, I could do that. You know, this is food, but sometimes food through your punch looks fun and interesting. So that's kind of a fun thing. You know, it's texture. It doesn't matter that it's food. It's something interesting to look for, and that's what you're looking for your art journal. Now on this word contents, it looks like it's nice and big and that would be a good one, but it's on a diagonal, and unless you want to cut those letters out diagonally instead of straight, which is okay, like that, then you could use those letters. So that would be all right, but sometimes when it is like italic or on a diagonal like that, the letters don't work out quite as well. But these are usable, so I'll take that. I'll put that in my Word folder. And let's see, Rev, those are really big letters. They're kind of almost too big, but the word confident is cool. I'm going to just keep this whole thing because you never know. I might want great big letters, and I might want to use that word confident. So that's going to go in the Word file. And she's got pretty eyes and pretty lips, but it's too average. I've got other stuff already kind of like it. So here's another one where I don't see much on here that I want to use, but her shawl has got beautiful texture. So I might just punch out just a couple of those just for texture pieces. And you have to cut close to where you're going to punch, but see that cool texture. And yeah, this takes time, but it doesn't take that much time. And then when you sit down to play, you have lots of fun stuff in your stash to play with. So that's why I thought I would show you guys what my process is for doing this, for deconstructing a magazine, but you're upcycling it and using it for something else. Again, those are pretty smiles. That would be a cute smile to have for something. She's got pretty eyes. I've got quite a bit of eyes and smiles. These letters are nice, and you can cut between them, except they overlap each other, so it won't work. And here's how you tell. The word hydration looks like it would be a great word. When you put your scissors down, where this letter ends and this letter starts, they overlapped those letters. So you wouldn't get a good, clean letter cut out. You'd be cutting off part of the A to use the T, and you'd be cutting off part of the I to use the T. So you could save it, and the stuff that's behind it to me is distracting, so I'm going to pass on that one. So that's how I decide on letters, is make sure, again, this one, beautiful, is good, but they're really close together, so if you're going to cut that out, are you going to be able to have enough space to use that letter? Cut into it and see. And on this one, a couple letters I could use, but I couldn't use all of it, so I could save it, but probably not going to. I'm going to keep the Almay. I love how Almay titles use it, are nice and big, and see, that's a great space to work with. You can cut a nice square around that, so that's a perfect one to save. Now on pages like this colorful, interesting background might be interesting for borders, for border pieces. Like if you were to tear this into a strip and make that into pieces for a border, that's really colorful and pretty. So I'm going to save that for border. Same with this side. You could save that side for border. You could use part of this skirt. There's nothing on the background at all in the back, so you could use part of this skirt for texture. That's kind of really pretty. So punch out that. See, and there you get the texture view. It doesn't look like her skirt, but you know, the gauze skirt that she's wearing just makes a really pretty texture. And I'm going to do two of them, so I'll have more than one in my stash. Her buttons are cute. You could do that too. Let's see if what that would look like. I should have saved her arms. But check that out. Her buttons, that's cute. You could even make that into a ladybug. Adorable. So, you gotta have vision. And her arms, those might be good for collage. I'm going to put that in my folder for hands and arms, because I like what they're doing. They're doing something different. So hopefully this has given you some ideas of what to look for. I mean, on this one, if you need purses for doing like collaged images and dolls, save this in a folder for purses. They each have a bottle of Olay beauty cream sticking out of them, but if you fussy cut that out, you'd have this cute purse that you could put over an arm of a character that you created by collage. So that would be in a good to put in a folder for purses and accessories, which I have a folder for that. So let's look at this one. We'll just do a couple more. Here, this one. This one, I think I would save this one for body. I like her body position. I like what she's doing with her arms and her hands. This would be a great piece for collage for putting this in for full bodies. I have a folder that's called bodies, and when I see a body like this where I might want to use that whole thing, or I might want to use this much of it, not the head and not the legs, but maybe just the torso in a collage, or maybe just the skirt and legs in a collage. So I'm going to save that whole thing and put it in the folder for bodies. This one's got a pretty floral that's got pretty leaves on the background. Those leaves might be pretty in collage, so I could put that in the folder for leaves, or save this for floral, whichever one I like. And on this one, again, make a fast decision. I like the leaves better. They're very unique, and they would be easy to fussy cut those out and have very interesting leaves to put on a collage image. So that one's going to go into my folder for leaves. So let's move on and do a couple more. Just a couple more. This one, I can use those for lettering for sure. Those are good letterings. They're nice and have space in between them, and they're nice and big and bold with white behind it. And there really isn't anything in the back except this plant, this house plant, and yeah, it's okay to punch that out. It's got some leaves on it. It's kind of fun and interesting, so that's okay. At least I'm taking something. I like to use a little of something so nothing is wasted. Again, here's some more house plants. Could save that whole plant and put that in the background somewhere. You could use this. This would be adorable. See, this is where you gotta have collage vision. This would be cute. I can envision this whole thing as that's the hair and this is the face, and you could put your eyes, nose, and mouth, you know, with other collage elements and add this to a body, and that whole piece could be a head, you know, a head for a cool and funky collage character. So I'm going to put that in my folder for heads, because that's what I'm envisioning it. You probably envision it just as a houseplant. I see that as, how cute would that be as a collage funky character, as a head of a collage funky character. Ooh, I can't say that. Say that 10 times fast. Collage funky character. So this one's cute for her body and her position, so I'm going to save that whole thing for bodies. This is gorgeous for floral, so that's just going to go in floral. Ooh, look at this one. Ooh, I love this. Okay, look at this cool page. What do you see? I see border, border, border. Or the window. Look at how cool that would be to leave this whole thing as it is. It's a tree with the red things are supposed to be, you know, signify leaves outside the window. And this window in the middle is supposed to look like a bottle of wine, but it's curtains also. So you could trim that out with your X-Acto, and then you could put something behind it and have this cool window on your art journal page. So I would put this in my folder for windows, because it's got a really neat window and a really cool design on the outside of it. Or you could use it for borders because it's bright and pretty. So let's see, on this page there's a cupcake with some clovers. So how about just punching out those clovers and using just the clovers, not the whole thing. Actually, the whole cupcake with clovers is really cute. Look at that. That's kind of cute. Kind of fun. And if you were layering them, say you were layering them up a border and you didn't want that to look like a cupcake, and you put something one over the top, you just would have a little clover sticking out in your border, which is really cute. So those kind of things are what you want to look for. And then don't forget to do, oh, look at that. Woo, love that. Love, love, love. It's a lotus leaf. That would be so pretty. I would love to put that on a background and then draw either a beautiful girl or, you know, a frog hopping or something really pretty to paint on it and have that in the background. So that is going to go in my floral. So it's just too cool. I don't see anything on that one, which is kind of rare, but not a lot of excitement on that page, or this one, or words. So sometimes you won't find anything. I was trying to find things that you could use for borders. I'm not really finding a lot yet. These words are great. That Martha, cut those out individually, and those are great letters for making a word on your art journal. I like doing those Mod Podge words like I did on my Not My Circus page. I love doing that. So this is just my process, and you'll have to give it a try and see what you come up with when you go through your magazines. But for me, if I'm not in the mood to make an art journal page, that's when I go through my magazines and do this, because this gives me new inspiration. So I put this stuff all in my folders, and now the next time I go to create an art journal page, say I want to do collage, I've got some new material in those folders that I constantly go to that, you know, I didn't have this in my folder before, and now I do. So that's going to be, if it's something that I know, okay, like that really intrigues me and I love it. So if that's something that I look at and go, oh man, I really want to put that on a page, make a special folder for work in progress or for my journal or whatever. I'm going to put that in that because I would like to use this soon on an art journal page. So that one's not just going to get stuck in floral. It's going to get stuck in my, hey, use this on an upcoming art journal page because I like it so much and that's what I want to do with it. So this is giving you new inspiration. So then when you sit down to journal, you don't have to waste time. Like, okay, I want to make a journal page. Now I've got to flip through this stack of 3 magazines and try to find a focal and try to find arms and try to find a face and some words and things like that. You don't have to do that for it to impede your progress of sitting down and making the art. This will be done and ready for you. Do this on a day when you don't feel like making art, but you just want to find some new inspiration. So cut your magazines apart and put them into your folders, have them ready to go. Then when you're ready to play, you can just go to those folders and have, those are really cool shutters. So then you'll have new stuff to play. So you cut that into a piece for your border, cut that strip of colors in for borders. On this Hallmark card page, she was looking at a Hallmark card and I just cut those into strips to make cool border, and it just has random words when you cut it into strips. This would be great for border. This texture here would be great stuff for border, so I'm going to put that in the border file. And the word art, I always keep things that have the word art because I like to use the word art in my pages a lot. So that would go in border. The other would go in art. I'm going to punch out the things with the 4-leaf clovers into circles. So that was kind of a fun page for getting some interesting things. So hopefully that's enough to give you an idea of deconstructing a magazine and looking for things like this leg. Okay, I'd save that and put that in my folder for legs for sure, because that's a great, turn it upside down, that's a great leg that could be used, both of those, could be used on a collage piece where you've made a body out of something else and you're making this cool collage and you want her to have fun legs, and you could draw sandals, paint sandals on, or do something different to it. You could Zentangle this. There's kind of neat things, and that's a really great leg. So look for legs, arms, faces, heads, full bodies, clothing, borders, things you can punch out, textures that you would want to punch and save, you know, cool fun textures like that. Color, things with color, words that you can use that are whole words, words that you can cut apart to make collage words, things like that. Hope that got you started, gave you some fun ideas. Now go find some magazines and do some deconstructing of your magazines, but yet you're upcycling it for what are you gonna do next. That's perfect for borders, 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 borders. Okay, have fun, and I hope this gave you some ideas. Don't forget that when there's letters, make sure you can make a good clean cut in between your letters. Save that. That's a good title too, Good Things. I could do an art journal page that says, Good Things Are Coming My Way. Perfect. So that one's going to go into my folder of things that I'm currently working on. Like this one. I love this one a lot. So instead of just putting that in a folder for floral, I'm going to put it into my folder that is current art journal projects. And I think I'm going to put my good things, because that would be a great, good things are coming my way. Put that in the background and do something really beautiful with it. So that's going in my works in progress folder. So have fun and enjoy the process of finding things that you can use, items like bottles and things, containers that you can flip upside down, and things that you can use to make something into something else, like a teapot with a girl coming out of it, or a teapot as her body, a bottle of wine. Like this collage piece, I'm using a perfume bottle as her body. So ideas like that, where a container of some sort becomes something else. So look for those things, lamps, containers, vases, things like that, things you can make borders out of. Things like this that are cute. I save these types of things, like coffee and cookies are cute to just keep in a folder for food and beverages, so that would be cute on a page that maybe talks about friendship and having your girlfriend over for a cup of coffee or something like that. So open your mind and open your eyes when you're looking through and see what you can come up with. This dress on a hanger, that would be perfect to save in a folder for clothing, because that is a nice thing for collage. That's a perfect top of an outfit where you could cut the straps off, use that as the outfit, put a body behind it, or create a collage body, and then do strips of book text and things for the skirt. So there's a lot of things you could do with that. So I would save that in a folder for clothing. So hopefully my ideas and my process is giving you some inspiration for different things to look for when you're looking through magazines for inspiration and things for your collaging for art journaling. So go have fun and create something wonderful, because art soothes the heart. Thanks for stopping by.